Hi friends, Mr. Shimchick here. Again, working with a kindergarten standard, and this standard is to fluently subtract within 5. So the largest number is 5 and we're taking away from that quantity. So just as with addition, I like to call this build it, change it, count it. With a subtraction situation, we of course want students to have a context or some sort of story problem for it. So I might say my story problem would be, I have 5 orange cubes. I give 1 orange cube away, and I'm looking to find out how many orange cubes I have left. So in that story, we would want children to build that using a concrete tool. Counters are, these happen to be connecting cubes, but they can be, anything that you have handy. So just as with addition, this first number is going to represent what they build. So I start with 5. This symbol, this minus sign, and this quantity here is giving us important information. It's saying that I'm going to take away 1 cube, and I'm interested in figuring out how many are left. And for early on, students need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 cubes left. So you want that story problem, you want them to be able to represent it with some sort of a tool, and at the same time we're beginning to introduce, or not exactly at the same time, it comes later, but we introduce this mathematical notation that if I start with 5, this is what I build, and this minus 1 is how I'm going to change my original picture. So I build 5. My minus 1 tells me how I'm going to change it, and of course I'm left with 4. As students move along, we want them to be able to represent this same situation, but by drawing pictures. So we begin by drawing the 5 circles that we had. All right, we had the 5 cubes. We're going to draw 5 circles. Now with the cubes, we removed a cube. But when students begin to work with a pictorial representation, it becomes a little more challenging, like, what are we going to do? So some students will say, well, we'll just erase 1, which is a very good idea, and it absolutely works. But what we prefer is to simply X out what's there. Because then I can see the original quantity. I can see that I had 5 and that I took 1 away, and that what I'm going to do is I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 to determine how many are left. So I started with 5 circles. I X'd 1 out, leaving me with 4 circles. Always important in kindergarten to have a context, a story problem, to have a concrete tool to manipulate. Once there's some good understanding of just the action that's occurring in these story problems. We have that idea that subtraction in kindergarten is about removal. They're all removal situations at this grade. In subsequent grades, subtraction has other more challenging meanings, but in this situation, it's about removal. When they have a little bit stronger sense of that, and they can begin to represent it pictorially, they draw how many they have. That's what they build, right? This minus 1 is giving instruction as to how you're going to change what you had. In this case, I'm going to X 1 off, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 to tell me how many are left.